Of course, one of the most talked about topics across every sector right now is artificial intelligence. Although my husband did a conference there not so long ago, and it was with the Ulster Farmers Union, and he kept saying artificial insemination, which means something completely different, of course. So artificial intelligence. For events, AI, it's opening up interesting possibilities for marketing, for content creation, to audiences, insight and operational planning. Our next session will explore how AI might support your tourism events, with practical examples and ideas for getting started. Again, after this presentation, we're going to ask the tables for you to work together, and our speaker is going to pose a couple of questions for you at the end of his presentation, which will be something for you to discuss. And then again, we'll take a few examples from the floor. So our next speaker is from ProfileTree, a company that is an expert in all things AI. Please welcome Ciaran Connolly. Thanks, Ciaran. You go ahead.
Hello, everyone. So it was great seeing that we filled in a form before we arrived here, and I got some data as to where everyone is. And it was really interesting to see that around a third of the room are power users with AI, which is great, but it leaves a lot of the room who aren't. And there was 4 or 5 people who aren't using AI at all. So hopefully today I'll have something for everyone as we go through this, and again, I'll be here after for questions for sure. So some of the questions that people did ask when they're signing up was, how do we move beyond standard content creation? So anyone that's using AI seems to be using it for marketing. So again, what else can we do with it? How do we analyze our data? And how do we make AI sound and look less like AI? So we'll tackle all of these today. But the first thing I'd like to mention is, and focus on, is how people find events today. And if I ask you to think, when was the last time you did a Google search? So it might have been maybe not that long ago. When did you go beyond the first result that you're given? Did you trust the results at the top of the page? And did you go on to page 2? Now, most people would say no, and even some people would say we haven't done a Google search in a long time, we've been using AI. But something is happening here, and again, you'll have seen it yourself, I'm sure, that people don't have to sign into AI tools to get recommendations for events. People are travelers, people who are visiting events and booking event tickets are asking AI for recommendations. And again, how do we make sure that our events are found in those answers? And that's what we're going to have a quick look at here. So instead of, what the stats and data are showing is, instead of people spending 2 or 3 days planning events and holidays and weekends away, they're just getting a quick recommendation in an AI tool. And it's really interesting to see why people are using AI. So they're using it to save time. So again, 3 days versus 3 hours or 15 minutes to get a recommendation. You can understand why. The AIs are becoming personal. The more we use them, and again, if you are a user of AI, you'll have seen this already, the AIs are starting to know all about us and making very smart recommendations, and that's where the whole industry is going, and that's going to get more intelligent going forward. And it's very interesting, one for me was new destinations. So people are being recommended things that they didn't know about. And that's probably a big leveler for smaller businesses, because what you find in Google is the big brands that are always winning, but in the AI tools, we all have a chance at the moment, but that opportunity will go away. And we'll look at how we can actually benefit or make use of that today. So when AI is asked a question, it does come back with an answer. And I know someone's going to shout out that obviously sometimes it's fake or wrong, and that is very true. But the answers do come from somewhere. And what I'd recommend to everyone in this room is that the answer can come from you as well. And that's what sometimes we don't think about. So AI is pulling this information, these recommendations, where they're becoming a recommendation engine. As I say, Google search is going this way as well with AI overviews. Search, I don't know if it'll disappear this year, but maybe next year. The traditional search will vanish and we'll all be using the recommendations, will all be AI recommendations, no matter what platform you're using. Is it Instagram and you're searching on it? Is it Google or in the AI tools themselves? So lists at the moment are very important. itineraries and content on your site that we're hearing all about this morning, and everything's flowing from all these chats, and group pages. And group pages are basically pages on your own website where you're talking about your event and what you can do at it, but also other people's websites. So the booking engines, the ticket sites, they're providing a lot of information to these AI tools. And what we see is when we publish new content, we can see in the crawl data that the AI tools are coming and eating all of that data because they're so hungry for new information. And I hear some social media being mentioned as well. And this was a quote I found very interesting. It says that social share shows who is talked about. AI visibility shows who is recommended. So again, AI is becoming a recommendation engine. So again, bear that in mind. So think of the queries when you go back to your desk later. Think of the queries that you want to be found for in search and in these AI platforms. And then maybe go and check and see are you being listed in them. And I know, again, traditionally in SEO and Google, it's very hard to get up to position 1, but you can do it in AI tools at the moment, but this window will close. And if you're not in the list, you're not in the answer, and that is the problem. And that's what we need to sort. And we're going to suggest how you can do that today. Collaboration is the theme for today. And what I recommend is, even on your table or with organizations back at home, can you create a couple of lists for your own website with partners? So maybe you agree with 5 or 6 companies or organizations that you know in the tourism and event space, and you can come up with a list. So, for example, top 10 things to do in Oma for a couple at the weekend. There's a great list. Who can you pull onto that list? Who is great partners? And then can you talk to them, and would they include you in a similar list on their website? So all of a sudden, you've got these 10 people listing 10 events and tourism locations and things to do, and we're all supporting each other. So again, even on the tables today, is there someone that you could network with and ask, look, can we do a wee list and catch up after and do this? It's a great opportunity, because what you're doing is that you're leaving it to the bloggers, you're leaving it to the newspapers, you're leaving it to the big organizations to write these lists. So that's the leveler today. So you've got a real opportunity to do that, cross-link and be shareable. And if we all did that, it would transform the sector, I am sure, today. And don't just think of your own network that you know. Think of the hotel down the road, the perfect dinner spot. Again, this is where AI will fail, and AI content will fail, because you know your local area, you know who your customers or what your customers will want to do, who's booking your tickets, like what is their demographic, so what would they be interested in, and AI won't know that. So again, this is where you can win with this really unique content, and think of the visitor attractions. All of this we can do together, and it doesn't cost any money. It's just a little bit of time. And the beautiful thing is, I know we're talking about we don't have time. This will get you a result time and time again. Unlike a post on social media, this will return an ROI for so long. And we've seen it so much in the last couple of months, and I'd say the window will close. So in 6 months' time, this might not work, but today you have a great opportunity. We have an AI visibility checklist, and you'll get the slides later. And these are all things that you should be on. We've heard about the portals and the PR opportunities. They are incredible for being found in AI, so I would run to them. I'm just upset we don't have that in our industry. But I know most of you will be established and have set up your Google Maps and your TripAdvisor profiles. What I'd recommend is that, or ask you, when was the last time you updated these? Because what we find is when we talk to a business is that it was updated when it was set up, but that could be 6 years or 10 years ago. So again, we've got these AI tools now that will help us improve our content. It'll take no time at all to take a couple of hours and log into every single place you're listed and update that content. The AI tools love fresh content, as does Google. And all of those platforms, I suspect, will rank fresh content higher than stale content that's maybe 10 years old. So can you add new photos, videos, update the offering that you have? So the second thing I was going to talk about is the work that nobody likes. So this is my problem here, and this is where AI really helps me, is when I'm starting something, I'm awful. I procrastinate like crazy with the blank page, and the AI comes in, it's my savior, and gives me that first draft. And there's so many things, not just content writing, but I have a few things listed here, and it's endless, but obviously the event listings, we can use AI to enhance it, to help us make sure we appear in all of searches. Press releases, social media, of course, we talked about, but what about documents for our business as well, the volunteer briefings and all those important documents that maybe we don't really update or don't even have. And then, of course, the funder reports at the end. What I'd say is AI is great at that first draft. And I would say, again, I use AI, 12 hours a day at least. And I would say, and I feel AI has actually got a wee bit silly in the last couple of months or a year or so, and I'm finding that I'm having to check it more often than I did last year. So last year I actually trusted AI more than I do this year, and I personally feel, I wonder, are the systems, the ecosystems, reducing the power because to save resources? It just feels not as sharp. So my warning or advice, or advice is check everything that AI produces. Everyone's using AI now. I think it was 94% of all the content published online last year was AI influenced. So again, it's very few places that are still publishing real handwritten content now. So how do you make yours stand out? So you really have to lean into that and make sure that you're adding your own unique stories into it. The AI is only, and that's one of the questions, was it's only as good, and the output is only as good as what you put into it. So again, it's back to the settings. Now you can do this again if you've got your laptop or your mobile phone, and maybe you've done this recently if you've attended any of the Tours of NI trainings on AI, but go into the tool that you use and go into the settings. If you use ChatGPT and you have it on your phone, you can do this, as I say, right now. Click on your icon, your profile in the bottom left corner, and go into the settings, and there's personalization. Have you updated the personalization settings in there? Have you told the AI all about you, who you are, what you do? Because that remembers that for every single interaction you have with it going forward. And when you're in there, don't forget to click on the data controls and make sure that you've got data sharing off. So, and that's on free and paid, so just to watch out for that. And they update this quite often, so if you've done it a couple of months ago and you haven't done it recently, go back in and do it now again, because they add in new features every couple of months in here, and the updates are getting faster. The AI systems are now coding these platforms, so it's the speed of output is definitely getting faster. Also, if you're using AI tools, every single one of them, from Copilot to ChatGPT to Perplexity to Claude, anyone that you might use, have projects. They're just called different things. In Copilot, they're called notebooks. In Perplexity, they're called spaces. In ChatGPT and Claude, they're projects. And what these are is little micro spaces where you set up, basically, it's like a folder or filing cabinet for your project. And in that, you put in all of the documents, the information that you have from, say, previous events. So if I'm looking at survey responses, I would set up a project for survey responses, and I would take all of the last 5 or 6 years and put them into that and ask it, what have I missed? What's the trends? What's the opportunities? What should I watch out for this year? And get that insight that you might not have before. So in these projects, you can upload unlimited files in most cases, and you can go into project settings and tell it what you want to do in that project. And that's how you'll always get the best out of the AI tool. People who are getting weak responses are just going in straight and asking it without giving it any context. And you're going to get the same output as everyone else. So we, in our business, do not allow anyone to use an AI tool without a project. So again, I recommend that for everyone. And the key difference then, if we're all using AI, what is the differentiator? Your local knowledge and your expertise of what's happening around your event. So I've got some examples here, and we heard it through the other speakers as well. Stories. Again, as I say, some good examples, but the AI doesn't know the names and the faces of your volunteers who've been coming back and helping maybe an event for years and years and years. It doesn't know what's the best entrance to get into your event or into a place off the side street. These are all the insight and information that you can add to a piece of content that's been created that takes your content above everyone else's. Like it's not AI. So add in that knowledge into any content. Have the AI do the draft, but then you add in your own learning. And just to highlight again, just to remind everyone, I know you've heard it, don't forget to visit the My Tourism NI training portal. There is an AI course in there for the beginners who've not done anything. And of course, there's loads of videos on everything on the YouTube channel. So there's been updates on the YouTube channel there. And if you haven't got projects set up, we have a detailed 1-hour webinar on how to do that on the YouTube channel. So that'll take you through everything from start to finish. So I can only recommend that. Analytics, that's one thing that talking to some people today that they aren't using AI for yet. And we heard about data and being so powerful. That is one of the unlocks in AI in your business. So I can only recommend again, if you've got any data, and we would add that into every project that we set up. So we don't have a shortage of data in our business. So from visitor numbers to tickets sold to survey responses, get the data and put that all into these tools and have them analyze it and ask them what questions should I ask with the data that's attached. And it'll come back with all of these questions that you should ask. And then you say, right, okay, answer question 1, answer question 2. So you don't have to be an expert in AI. It will do it all for you, which is even better. A couple of other areas we can look at: the visitor journey. So of course, when people come, or before people come, we can use AI. During their event, we can obviously use AI, and after. And just some examples here. So again, it's something we see a lot. So we've got all this software tools and we're already paying for them, these booking engines and email systems. And if I was to ask you, how many people here have unique emails going out to all of your customers who book tickets? So if I come in and book a family ticket, do I get the same email as someone that books one ticket or for a commercial booking? Because that's a real missed opportunity. Every single tool now allows personalized emails. And what you can do, again, it used to be hard 2 years ago, but now AI will write you all of the emails you want for a family and put in all of the information. So again, if I'm booking your event, I'm getting personalized emails back instead of everyone just getting the same congratulations on booking your ticket, here's the number, or here's your receipt. It's a missed opportunity. So again, you can use AI at the start of that process and it doesn't take a lot of time. During events, again, especially big ones, or people using your experience, people do have the same questions every time. One way to answer these is to use an AI chatbot. And again, you can have this on your own website. And an example of this is Glastonbury. So they were getting, I think it was 200,000 questions they estimated per day, and answers per day on their site. They created an AI chatbot and put it on their website, and it worked even when the reception, the internet wasn't that great. But it answered all of the basic questions that everyone participating really wanted to know about. But again, if they didn't have the chatbot, they just would not be able to get the answers to. So again, that's a really good idea. Super simple. It's actually very cheap to do now, very easy. And most chat systems are AI enabled. You just put in your data that you wanted to know. It's locked to the internet, so it's not making up anything. And it can help your customers no end, especially for larger events. So have a think on that one. And then after the event, what can we do and how can we use AIs? So again, do people get a thank you email? And that goes back to the personalization. Do you follow up with anything else? Are you prompting them for the next event or next year? Analysing your data and the feedback. And then, of course, we have to write the reports and what happened. So getting the first draft of that report is really good. Now, you mightn't have noticed, and people are thinking, is that an AI image or is it not? Well, I can tell you it is an AI, I'm joking. It is an AI image, of course, and that is part of the problem. And wrapping up my section is with images, and what we're seeing as well is there is a little bit of a movement in anti-AI, which again, I think is good. And I think it's great for the event space and tourism space, because I think people really want, and I think it's going to be a bigger drive towards in-person experiences and actually real life, joy, as opposed to all of this AI stuff that we're seeing online, and that's probably going to accelerate. Definitely, generic AI content is worthless. The search engines see it, but consumers see it and know it's no good as well. As soon as they see it, it's a real put-off, and we've seen that in data as well. So at all costs, do not be producing AI generic content. As we mentioned, put in real stories, real insight that stories that you would tell someone if they're face-to-face. And again, a classic example here is an AI was writing an article, and it would say a local chef But if you were writing the article or enhancing the article, you would name the chef and tell a little bit about them as well. So these are the things, as I say, the AI, where your content can rise above the rest. And just to mention AI imagery. So again, it's using the right tools in the right places. So for events and tourism, generally we would see AI imagery is not a good thing to use. Bad iPhone photos are much better. So as I say, if, people want to see the real event, they want to see what they're going to experience. So I wouldn't be advising anyone to be using AI imagery for showcasing an event. So there is times to use AI imagery, but there's a lot, especially when you're selling an experience. Yes, so the AI image is on the right. Is it right? Is it? Oh, joking. I left, yeah. Very good. So again, most people will know and remember the Willy Wonka incident, the event in Scotland. So again, none of us want that here. And if you haven't seen it or need to be reminded, just Google it and you'll see. But we've got the AI image on the left and obviously reality on the right. So that is not what we want. It's I would recommend real images at the right time. And there is a place for AI images, of course, and AI enhanced images where they clean up images, but just be very, very careful on that. So down to our table exercise, and we'll run around here. So I've got 2 questions to ask. So this is a challenge, and this is to get people talking, and I'm thinking of that collaboration for the listicle, but also what I'm looking for here is what can we include in the prompt, because we see good prompts and bad prompts. So the first task is a pre-event social plan. So we've a 3-day food festival coming up. I want you to write the actual prompt you would give AI to plan your social media for the week before the event. So think about platforms. I have some prompters there, your audience, the tone, any content you want to include. So we'd love 1 or 2 people just to read out what that prompt would be. So again, let's see what people are doing with the prompting. It's still so important. And then the second one is post-event follow-up. We'll ask one person or 2 to read out as well. The event finished 48 hours ago. What are 3 specific things you would like AI to help you with? So what's the things that you think that AI could help after the event? And ask the questions, and I'll run around if anyone's got other questions. But thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the floor. Cool.
Thanks. So as Ciaran has set you a task there, 2 questions. Take the next 10 minutes and collaborate at your tables and come up with answers, and we'll come back to you later. Next 10 minutes. Okay, everyone, because I heard a few rumbling tummies there, so some people interested in having lunch, but we've a bit of work to do before that. So Ciaran set you 2 questions. First one, pre-event social planning. My eyesight isn't great, so can you read that? Can you read that off there, Ciaran?
Yeah. So come up with you're 3 days before food festival coming up. And we want you to write the actual prompt to give an AI to plan your social media for the week before the event.
Right. Hands up. Anyone want to give us their suggestion? Table 3. I haven't come to you before. Even a little snippet, little bit of what you were talking about there in the answer to question 1.
Okay, so I'll just read out what we've got.
Yes, good, yeah.
So I want to promote a 3-day food festival too, and then you would outline who your target market is, what groups, locations, demographics, all of that, to increase awareness and encourage visitors to the festival. It takes place during whatever dates and times, and obviously the location, and then inserting the link to the programme for a wider range of all the information on the actual programming of the festival. We want the social media post on Facebook and Instagram, and the tone would be exciting and enticing. And then we would list the key messages, what's been agreed with our, when we're launching, I suppose, the campaign, what our key messages for the festival are, enticing food, local produce based in the destination.
So there's a lot there. Can you have too much detail?
You can get a wee bit excited and put in loads, but I'll be honest, I find the more that I educate the AI, the better the responses. And you'd have that obviously set up in a project, of course. Yeah, with loads of and past posts and everything. Yeah. That's it. So
good student.
Yeah. So if there's past examples of posts that you've made and you've got your analytics for the social networks in your project, then it'll see your tone and your style, and it'll know exactly what you want. And yeah, no, brilliant, cool.
Good.
And yeah, and else.
Anyone else? Table 12. What about table 12 there? What have you written in your answer to question 1?
Very similar to what was said before. So we started off, act as a digital marketer. We want to create a 3-week-long campaign for a 3-day food festival, provide the information program. Here are our target audiences, how to adapt, but also please fill in any suggestions, make any suggestions about any audience groups that we might have overlooked. And, very similar, obviously, more information we have, the better for that. What I have found in the past as well, we were just mentioning there, is also, I found it useful to say, use only the information provided and make no assumptions and don't fill any gaps.
Brilliant, excellent. No, great points there as well. And what I suggest, if you're using ChatGPT, if it is marketing and social media that you're looking at, you can go into the settings and go to personalization and change it to quirky, which is creative, which is brilliant for social media. And then obviously don't forget to change it back when you're doing reports, or your reports will be very creative. Yeah.
If you're targeting as well, not just English speaking, but those who don't have English as a first language, is there anything that you have to think about in regard to using AI and in answer to that first question that we have?
Again, we know, and the translators will come in and tell us, obviously it gets it mostly right. But again, if it is your audience that you're targeting, so back to knowing our audience, making it clear that it is non-speakers, and so it will use simpler English in the post, it's going to be much better for sure.
What's your second question then?
Cool. And it's post-event, which I think a lot of people don't do. So your event has finished 48 hours ago. What are the 3 specific things that you would do now to ask AI to help you with? Or what would you ask AI? What's the 3 things you'd ask AI to help you with? So if anyone's up for sharing.
Anyone up for sharing? Here we go. Paul, and I got you. I'll go to you. But also I want to get the very far table as well. Come to this table first, thank you. Table 11.
So I've got down asking it based on what's found out over the internet, which has been reported back again. What went well? List of 10 things that we thought went well. What didn't go well that people have actually put in, and also what are improvements that could be made based on what people are actually giving us. Maybe ask for, I don't know, 20 of them or something like that, or maybe 100, and see what comes back with it. But again, only things that are real rather than anything else on it, just to do a debrief and then categorize that.
Brilliant. No, good.
See, I'm just looking at what's urgent, what's what you can do in a week or so. Why is that important to include that?
Yeah, so again, it's the more context you can give it. So, and that's a good start for sure, because it's general. But again, you might have reports. And again, what we'd find is if you give it, like I need to take actions in the last week or 2 to maybe planning for next year. So if you can tell it what you need the information for. So is it a stakeholders report? Is it to help plan with the next event? Is it to find out what, as we're saying here, what did go wrong in the data? So you've uploaded maybe surveys or analytics from the website. So again, yeah, be specific in what you want, just to get the real output that you need, as opposed to something generic.
Okay, table at the back. Your answer to question 2 there.
Yeah, so we were kind of looking towards post-event review in terms of the feedback from consumers. So we were speaking about potentially if it was a ticketed event through a ticket company, that you would be able to put out a post-event sort of survey or questionnaire to gather information from the consumer side. We were speaking, obviously, a lot of us are in event operational delivery and wouldn't be so much involved in the marketing side of it. So looking at ways to gather feedback post-event that we maybe wouldn't be able to get on the day. And then the other thing, which it's kind of a question within the answer, but in terms of using AI to sort of look for feedback online from consumers. Obviously, a lot of our events would then use hashtags and encourage people to post about the event. And potentially, if AI would be if you'd be able to use AI to sort of gather that information from social media, from sort of media reports post-event, and use that to collate information that then can be used post-event to plan for next year?
Great question. So on the social media point, so again, back to different tools for different purposes. So I would use Perplexity to search social media. So again, it's a free account. You can do 3 searches a day on premium level for free, and then it goes paid.
How do you spell that, Perplexity?
Perplexity. So type it in, Perplexity. It was founded by a gent that left OpenAI, and when you're doing your query, you hit the plus icon underneath the chat box, and you can select social media. So it searches Reddit, for example, which is very, very important now, one of the top traffic sites in the world, and the AIs love it. So, and it will search for social media. Now, it won't go in, a lot of social medias block a lot of the information, but it will get basic information on social media. So that's one there. And when you're talking about research or your data, another one I'd recommend is that if you're getting your survey response and you're getting all your data, or even before it or you're planning this year, what I do is any AI tool that you use, if you go into it, and again in the chat box there's a wee plus icon, and just go down and go to deep research, and basically ask it to research what's happening in your sector to other events in the UK and Ireland, and it will go away and maybe take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it'll ask you a few questions on what you want, but it'll research your whole industry, and you can ask it, what are people saying on social media, what has worked for other events in the last 6 months or 12 months. You get a lot of data from that. It'll come back, like ChatGPT will probably look at 200 or 300 websites and pull that all back. Claude will look at over 700 websites for deep research, and Perplexity is a really good search, but it looks at less websites. But you can take these reports and then add them into your project, and then that's building up your data, so your project becomes even more useful. But you can actually then compare your results against the industry, what's happening. So you might see where you're winning and spot other opportunities.
A powerful tool, powerful tool. To sum up, Ciaran, we use AI as a frame then, but we don't lose. We talked about Stephen talking about branding and being authentic and creating a feeling. So overall, for event organisers here in the room, can you sum up what AI will do for them if they utilise it?
Oh, I think it could transform a business. Genuinely, we don't have time, we don't have money, we don't have resources, but if you can invest a little bit of time, go through the course in the My Tourism NI, look at the YouTube channels, they're all targeted towards tourism businesses. But if you can use it, I think you can scale a lot of what you have problems with. You can have like an assistant with you 24/7, and with agents this year, so keep an eye on the YouTube channel, with agents this year where it'll do some of this manual task work for you. It's going to get very exciting. So, and then discoverability as well. So do those lists, do the collaboration between your partners, your local businesses, and take full advantage of that before that opportunity goes away.
Everyone, your thanks to Ciaran Connolly.